Well, by way of introduction, I'd like to say that the entire first half of this budget session of Parliament was washed out over this controversy over General Naravane's unpublished book. Rahul Gandhi selectively used excerpts from the so-called book to make the weird and false claim that the former Indian Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Naravane, former Chief of the Indian Army, had been left high and dry when in office by the Modi government during Operation Galwan. And for days, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress kept waving that so-called book to claim that the Modi government was indecisive vis-à-vis China on Galwan at a very critical period for our national security. And all of us, the entire country, saw such engineered chaos in Parliament and such full-time theatre by Rahul Gandhi that the line between the truth and lies appeared to be blurred. In all of this, importantly, General Manoj Mukund Naravane, former Chief of the Indian Army, center of the controversy, himself remained out of sight. Somehow, despite being in Delhi, he buried himself away from the national media, and almost became impossible to contact and connect for even a simple one-word reaction. This allowed a fair amount of ambiguity to remain in the political sphere, and that was capitalized on by the Congress to claim that they were speaking on his behalf and that Rahul Gandhi was echoing the views of General Naravane. In that context, Alisha Nair's interview with General Naravane, though brief, becomes very significant. And speaking to her in Dibrugarh, he has made three things clear. And I'd like to point those three things before we go into detail. One, that we have not ceded a single inch of land to China. That's a direct counter to Rahul. Number two, he counters Rahul Gandhi's claim directly that he didn't get a free hand from the Modi government, saying anybody can say anything. That's as dismissive as he can be of Rahul. But importantly, and this is important for me as a journalist, he questions the journalistic tactic, or rather lack of tactic, that the magazine that published the article followed, attacking it for irresponsibly quoting unnamed sources. Ladies and gentlemen, here is what Naravane has said in the context of everything you may have heard so far.
For 2 weeks, Rahul Gandhi used General Naravane. For the entire budget session, he waved his unpublished book as a political prop outside and inside Parliament. Now, the general hits back. Nobody needs to have any doubts, he says, that India hasn't given an inch of land to China.
Especially about the statement that you have already given that not an inch of Indian land had been taken by the Chinese. Do you still maintain that?
I think you should ask a reverse question to the Chinese, that have they occupied any Indian land? And answer to that question, I think, will satisfy all those who have any doubts on this matter.
This destroys everything that Rahul Gandhi has been saying on Galwan. It's a huge embarrassment for Rahul, who has been making wild claims about Indian territory lost to China. But that's not all. Naravane hits out at the magazine that slyly used unnamed sources in the article about his book to make their own political inferences. He tells people not to take the article that uses the questionable tactic of using unnamed sources to make a huge claim, which then Rahul Gandhi used in Parliament.
So the Caravan article has also quoted that you were allegedly recalled that Prime Minister instructions conveyed jo uchit samjhe wo karo. Did this mean that the Prime Minister gave you a free hand as the Chief of Army Staff to take calls you needed to be, or or the other way around, whether Rahul Gandhi is saying that you were left alone?
See, once again, we cannot take cognizance of articles which are published quoting unnamed sources, what is right, what is wrong. So let it be for the time being at that. And as and when things get clearer, we can discuss these issues more in depth.
Naravane isn't wrong, and this further destroys Rahul Gandhi's tactic and argument. While Rahul claimed that the magazine article was editorially strong, Naravane questions the unnamed sources tactic in the article, questioning its conclusions. And although he's soft-spoken and almost shy, Naravane is angry, clearly very angry, at Rahul Gandhi for making the claim that as army chief he felt alone. And that as army chief he didn't get the clarity or support from the political leadership.
Sir, Rahul Gandhi has also said that you, in your book, which is an unpublished book, it is alleged that you felt really alone because Modi government did not give you clarity of instructions at a critical moment in Galwan. This is what Rahul Gandhi has alleged. What is yours?
Once again, anybody can say anything. I am not obliged to comment on anything, which is not actually my concern.
That is as direct as one can get to taking on Rahul Gandhi. Because while Rahul Gandhi claimed that the army chief felt alone during Galwan, the army chief clearly dismisses it, saying anyone can say anything, which clearly means that that's not the case. Now, for the past 3 weeks, the General Naravane affair has given the Congress fodder because General Naravane hadn't said a word. The publishers were forced to issue clarifications, Parliament was stalled and speculation spread like absolute wildfire. General Naravane appears tired by this, but not unaware that an attempt at book publicity may have gone too political for his taste.
As your unpublished book has become the focal point in the Parliament, are you being misquoted or are the allegations accurate?
I think we should not live in the past. We should look ahead, go in the future. I have written a new book, Murder Mystery. I'm writing the sequel to that. So let us move on and, as I said, not dwell in the past.
Politically, this clarification directly by General Naravane sets the record absolutely straight. For the Congress, it's a wake-up call that the rashness and shoot-and-scoot approach of its leader is now not without harmful consequences for his own party. For the government, it's a certification of their position that Rahul was lying all along once again. A Republic Super exclusive filed by Alisha Nair for Republic TV.